I've noticed that my He-Man related videos have been some of the most popular ones on my channel. In particular the video I made where I talked about how the classic series ended, and even where it actually started. As there was some confusion over what the actual final episode was. I've been meaning to go back to that first ever episode of He-Man and cover it in more detail. And seeing as the franchise is now turning 40 years old this year, now seems like a great time to do it. So here we go with my review of Diamond Ray of Disappearance. Strap yourselves into the DeLorean, all you He fans. We're going on a ride back in time to the September of 1983. Let's take a look and see where it all started. Diamond Ray of Disappearance is the first episode from Season 1 of the 1983 animated television series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. It was the very first episode to be screened, but was actually the fourth episode in the production order. This has led to the episode being mistakenly listed as the fourth episode whenever the show has been released on DVD or on streaming services. Despite its place in the production order, it is made clear on screen that this is intended to be the introduction to the show. The episode focuses on Skeletor's discovery of the legendary Diamond Ray of Disappearance, a jewel that sends who, or whatever it is aimed at, into another dimension. Skeletor summons many of his reoccurring minions to Snake Mountain, reciting their names as if reading them out from an Argos catalogue, i.e. Evil Lyn, Sorceress of Night, Triclops, Master of Vision, and Trapjaw, Wizard of Weapons. Not only does this serve as an introduction of these characters to the audience, it also tells you precisely which toys you should be looking out for down at your local Woolworths or Toy Master. And yes, I do realise how old that makes me sound. Shut up. Once Snake Mountain's finest have been assembled, Skeletor demonstrates the powers of the Diamond Ray by making a nearby creature vanish, before informing the evil warriors that he will use the Diamond Ray to get rid of He-Man and anyone else that will stand in his way of taking over Eternia. Despite this introduction to the forces of evil, no such introductions are given for the heroes. Although Stratos and Ram-Man are both brought in for the final confrontation, neither of them actually speak in this episode, which seems a little odd. Meanwhile, back at the Royal Palace, Orko is entertaining King Randor, Queen Marlena, Prince Adam, Man-at-Arms and Teela with an egg trick. Of course, somehow these eggs all end up on Man-at-Arms, which even at this early stage is already a running gag that just doesn't stop being funny. Orko! Teela hears laser fire and rushes to the window, where she sees Trapjaw on a sky sled attacking the palace and absolutely laughing his head off like he's got a screw loose. And what with the amount of mechanical parts that Trapjaw has on his body, he probably does. While Teela and the Royal Guard pursue Trapjaw, Prince Adam and Cringer leave the palace saying that this is no place for us. Much to the chagrin of King Randor, who makes a remark that he wishes his son acted more like a prince. Of course, this is nothing more than an excuse for Adam to slip away and transform into He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe.
By the power of Grayskull!
Teela confronts Trapjaw, who soon gets the upper hand until He-Man arrives and defeats the villain by destroying his arm-based arsenal and throwing Trapjaw, while still sat on his sky sled, into the stratosphere. This was a big point in the He-Man cartoon where he wouldn't actually punch anyone. Many He-Man fight scenes involved him grabbing one of the bad guys and throwing them. However, it is okay to punch robots and rock monsters. Meanwhile, Skeletor and his evil forces launch an assault on the now defenceless Royal Palace. Do you mean to tell me that every single member of the Royal Guard was chasing after Trapjaw all this time? Skeletor demonstrates the Diamond Ray on a nearby falcon, not knowing that it is in fact the Sorceress in the form of Zoa. He then does the same to Man-at-Arms, King Randor and Queen Marlena, but not before Man-at-Arms pulls out a copyright-infringing lightsaber. The royal family and Duncan are sent away into another dimension, and only Orko manages to escape to warn He-Man.
Can't the sorceress help? She's powerless away from Grayskull.
It does beg the question that if the sorceress is powerless away from Grayskull, then why the hell did she leave it in the first place? Especially when she can speak to either He-Man or Man-at-Arms through telepathy, as demonstrated in this very same episode. In the original cut of this episode, there were a couple of extra scenes after Randor, Marlena and Man-at-Arms disappeared. A vase that Orko levitated earlier on falls on his head, deflecting a ray of disappearance meant for him. Orko then manages to escape through a window. Outside, he crashes into a tree, breaking the vase, and then teleports away to warn He-Man. With those scenes removed, there is an awkward cut back to He-Man outside the palace. They didn't even bother cutting out the music, so it's really jarring. The cut scene can be seen on YouTube, but it remains missing from DVD and streaming versions.
Skeletor's Robot Knights.
Stop! What's happening? We're disappearing. What sort of magic is this? And now for you!
Hey! I can't see where I'm going! Help! Help! Let me out of here!
Stop him! The little one's getting away.
He's unimportant. Tonight we attack Castle Grayskull. And this time, not even He-Man can stop me from learning its secrets.
Help! Help! Somebody get this thing off of me! Phew! Thanks, pal. I'd better find He-Man.
Skeletor's Robot Knights.
After being warned about the Diamond Ray by Orko, He-Man asks him to find Teela, Stratos and Ram-Man and to meet him at Castle Grayskull. He-Man travels to the castle first, where he contacts the sorceress through her magic viewing glass. She reveals that to rescue his family and friends from the dimension that they've been sent to, that He-Man will need to destroy the diamond. But it won't be easy, as there is a risk that He-Man himself could disappear as well. The evil warriors arrive at Castle Grayskull and manage to break their way in. Unlike later episodes which show Castle Grayskull as having several mystic defences, this early episode sees Skeletor being able to break in with only a grappling hook and a bit of magic from his axe. Yes, an axe. Skeletor doesn't even have his Havoc Staff at this early point. Instead, he has this odd-looking magical wand / battle axe combination. I believe that this is the first and only time we will see Skeletor with this particular weapon. Upon breaking into the castle, the bad guys find He-Man waiting for them, who quips that maybe they should try knocking next time. Oh, He-Man. He-Man holds off the evil warriors with the aid of Battle Cat until Teela, Ram-Man and Stratos can join him. The evil warriors fall one by one at the hands of the heroic warriors, but Skeletor keeps a safe distance. He-Man confronts the villain, but when Skeletor attempts to use the Diamond Ray on him, He-Man deflects the blast with the Sword of Power, causing Skeletor to drop the diamond into a crevice in the ground. He-Man widens the crack and pulls out the magical stone. He begins to squeeze it, but starts to fade into the other dimension. It does seem that the most powerful man in the universe is in danger of being lost in this dark dimension as well. Just in the nick of time, he manages to break it. He-Man returns to normal, and his friends are safely transported back to Eternia. Skeletor leaves, vowing revenge.
You have saved Eternia.
And us. Thank you.
Much later, back at the Royal Palace, everyone is waiting for Prince Adam to come to the throne room on time. Unfortunately, he rides in on a broken Zoom chariot, making a sizable hole in the palace wall. We get no mention of the Zoom chariot beforehand, which apparently was King Randor's and had gone missing. It might have been better from a storytelling perspective that this had been mentioned during that first scene in the Palace of Eternia, with the payoff to this being the very last scene where Adam does find the Zoom chariot, but ends up accidentally destroying not only the vehicle, but a good portion of the throne room as well. Randor berates his son at the amount of damage he's caused, but Orko points out that at least he's here on time. Which leads to the good guys having a right good old chuckle as the episode comes to an end.
In today's story, Skeletor was looking for a shortcut, a quick way to riches and power. You may know some people like that, always looking for the quick way to get ahead of everybody else. Well, it doesn't work that way. The people who succeed are the ones who work for what they want. So don't be fooled by those who say they have a sure thing. There's always a catch to it. Don't sell yourself short. The right way is the best way. Until later.
So that was the first ever episode of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is a classic episode and a fantastic way of introducing the audience to the planet of Eternia and all of the characters that inhabit it, both good and evil. And for fans of He-Man, it really is a must-see. It's got everything you might want from a classic He-Man episode. A ridiculously over-the-top plot from Skeletor that involves a magical artifact. A massive goodies versus baddies fight scene at Castle Grayskull that was no doubt reenacted many times over by 80s children playing with the toys. Appearances from the likes of Stratos, Ram-Man, Triclops, Merman and many other memorable characters. And thankfully, not too much screen time for Orko. Just enough for him to be funny and to help save the day without being an annoying pain in the arse. And the moment where it looks like He-Man is going to disappear into the dark dimension is genuinely a thrilling one. If you ever wanted to see what He-Man was all about back in the 80s, then you could do a lot worse than checking out this episode. The Diamond Ray of Disappearance even briefly appears again in the 2000X He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series as part of the episode Turnabout. Which leads me to believe that the 2000X series is in fact a prequel series to the original 80s cartoon. But again, I go into more detail on that in one of my other videos. If this video gets a decent amount of views, then I may very well continue this series and review more episodes from the classic cartoon. Well, anyway, that's the end of another little analysis/rant on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you have enjoyed this, then please do leave a like and a comment, and be sure to check out some of my other videos. Please also consider sharing this video across your various social media platforms, in particular with those that have got anything to do with He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and 80s cartoons in general. And do be sure to subscribe to the channel as well, in order to see future videos just like this. But for now, thank you very much for stopping by the Big Daddy D Reviews channel, and we'll catch you again next time.